W269DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha, live from American Family Insurance Studios.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests of this program are of their own and not a reflection of Milwaukee Black Media or 1017 The Truth. Good afternoon, Milwaukee. You're tuned in to The Lunch Break on 1017 The Truth, where everything is an option on the menu.
And one thing about me, I'm a tough cookie, but I know what I can't do, and I'm not suffering. All right, I fought my whole life. I'm all right.
Excuse me, Cletus. Hoppo, who this man?
Yeah, I wasn't doing it. So I was like, I'm not paying $1,000 to sleep on somebody's couch.
Grab your lunch, hit send on that email, and get ready for the best hour of your day.
My way of thinking is that the parents do all they can, but once the kids leave out that door, whatever have you, they make their own decisions. I don't care if you're 9 or 99, it's still your decision about the situations that you get involved yourself in.
We talking about taxpaying citizens who look into their taxes. Look into this. We talking about elected officials doing backdoor deals, and somehow she still want to blame immigrants. That's what we talking about right now. We following the money, and you still want to blame black people and immigrants and welfare and all of these things for policies and backdoor deals that put poor people in worse position.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the 3rd Street Market Hall.
Like you said, they want to pad their pockets, but they need a reason to push things through. And I guess the low-hanging fruit is, okay, well, this is a problem, right? Y'all want to fix the problem, and they just hope nobody looks into it like, wait, when did food trucks become an issue?
Here are your hosts, Ray Nitty and Maybe Shannon.
What's up, Milwaukee? You are listening to The Lunch Break with Ray Nitty and Maybe Shannon. My co-host, Ray Nitty, will be back soon. But until then, y'all got me and Brother Z. He's holding it down on the production and sound. And we are live from the American Family Studio in the beautiful 3rd Street Market Hall. Man, it's nice to be here in person, y'all. Feeling good, feeling good. So, make sure you follow me on all platforms. I'm Maybe Shannon, and you can find me at Maybe Shannon across all platforms, Maybeshannon. And don't forget to head over to Facebook and join our community over there at The Lunch Break. We're growing over there, okay, y'all? We are growing, and that's where we keep the conversation going. So make sure you follow us on Facebook. Get in contact with us. And if you want to add to our conversation, make sure you call us. We are at 833-212-1017. You can text us too, but we want to hear from you. Again, that number is 833-212-1017. And also, head over to YouTube, where you can watch us live in the studio, and you can join our cousins in the chat, man. Listen, our cousins be live. They be having a good time. All right, so make sure you guys join us on YouTube. Listen, search 101.7 The Truth. That's on YouTube, so you can join the conversation. You can watch me live in the studio. Hang out with me. All right? Cousins, how are y'all doing today? Man, we had an eventful weekend. It's a lot to unpack about the weekend, but we're going to get into that a little later, okay? And let me thank y'all in advance for hanging out with me, okay? We are on the lunch break from 12 to 2 today, so make sure you guys lock in. All right? This is my first show by my lonesome, so we got a lot on my plate today. So, listen, I'm going to give y'all a little rundown. We're going to start with my weekend recap, okay? And you know we had Truth Family Fest this weekend as well, right? I also stopped by the Asian street food night market at Veterans Park. I did. It was a good time. It sounds like I missed some other things, but we're going to get into that. We're gonna talk about a good time, okay? Yeah, and we're going to talk about some other adventures I had this weekend, but we're going to get into that later, like I said. I've got a nice appetizer for y'all as well, right? We're going to talk about what the internet is buzzing about. We're going to talk about Spider-Man. Spider-Man put hands and feet on a Nazi this weekend. I know y'all seen the video. If not, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give y'all a good description of it. All right? And I also want to get your thoughts. Listen, one of our legendary rappers, basically, he did an interview, right? And it sounds to a lot of people like he told us to stop dwelling on our history. He was supposed to be talking about success and how Black people can build success. And I think he was basically hinting at the way you build success is forget your history. That's what it felt. We gonna play the clip, and I want to hear from you guys. I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about that. All right? Man, we got a lot on our plate. This is gonna be a nice little show here, y'all. It's nice. Ain't no roaches in here or nothing. I ain't never been in the driver's seat.
Bruh.
Getting real comfortable up here. I'm gonna kick my feet up. Zach, where the water?
I got you. Hold on.
All right, so let's talk about the weekend, all right? I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. When I got in, when I landed, it was raining like crazy. Okay,
Oh,
like
yeah,
it was.
You thought you brought the bad weather.
I thought I brought the bad weather. I was super nervous. Thank you. I was like, it's going to rain us out of True Family Fest. I thought for sure there was no way. Like, the way it was coming down, I was like, yeah, it's gonna rain all weekend. It's over. But True Family Fest was beautiful, y'all. We got to see so many people live and in color. Our cousins from the YouTube chat that hold us down every single day, they showed up. We got a chance to meet some people that make this whole thing possible. It was genuinely a good experience. Brother Z missed it. He was here though. He was very busy in the studio holding it down on production and sound just so we can broadcast live. All right, y'all. And that's what we did. It was actually really, really good. Like, everybody got a chance to talk and like interact with the audience, and that was really dope. I do know you guys got to hear some familiar voices. I know some voices that y'all miss hearing. Kyle, Ben, and more jumped on the mic. We love to see it. You know what I'm saying? That was a good time. And I also met an amazing woman, y'all. Let me tell y'all, okay? Look, I talked about this last time, but listen, I talked about it at True Family Fest when they put me on the mic, okay? I met this woman, and she was talking about she's come to True Family Fest every single year. And she was like, what show do you work on? And I was like, I'm on, the lunch break, 12 to 2. She was like, oh, you that wise young woman. And she told me that I could be the bridge, you know what I'm saying, that reaches our youth if they're willing to listen. And you know what? I felt like Dr. King a little bit. I was like, you know what? She had me gassed up. That's why I'm mentioning it again. That's the only reason. Because I was like, you know what? I believe the children are our future. That's what I felt like. I had to give y'all that. But that's how I felt. She really gassed me up. And it was good to see people that are listening, that know what we're doing, and that respect what we're doing. And like I said, like, she was an older woman, so it's easy for the older people to write us off and not really want to hear what we want to say sometimes. Or it's easy to feel that way, right? And like to hear that that's not what she was doing, that was awesome. Man. So, special thank you, though. I want to shout out some of our sponsors. It was cool to see them there. We had Educators Credit Union. We had American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, artists working in education. Where that board at, Zach? Do you know? The board that we was signing, remember? The
Vico
artist,
has it.
Vico got it. I want it. I signed it. No, I'm just we got all types of stuff. City of Milwaukee was there. AB Core was there. Ascension, Tap In, MKE. Shout out to our vendors. And like those artists really showed up and showed out. I'm not lying. Like, it was so dope to see some of these Milwaukee artists in person and hear them. Like, just raw talent. Like, it's really cool to see that out in the wild. Like, you see them on Instagram, you see them on Facebook, but to see them in person perform, like, it was amazing.
Emmett James is cold, ain't he?
Man, Emmett James is cold. Like, every single artist that we had, like, I really was amazed by them. Like, they showed out and they had such confidence. And, I like to consider myself a little older. I think I'm...
Really?
I'm like, the kids was doing good. They in their early 20s. Now that I'm in my 30s, I think I'm grown now. So I'll be like, damn. To be young and full of life. Like, it's so cool to see people show up and show off their talents with such confidence and, like, such joy in their eyes because they love what they're doing, man. Yeah, so got to see that. And then also I went to visit my grandma. I visited my grandma this weekend. She's been in the hospital for about a week. when I got into town, she had already been moved to the rehabilitation type center. And you know, they just want to make sure she good before she head home. But I visited grandma and she did tell me I put on some weight. Love you, grandma. She one of those grandmas that don't, like, you know, they don't shy away from that. Love her dearly, but she was like, yeah, you look nice. Your face is full. I was like, oh, you know, put on a few pounds. She said, don't do it no more.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, she don't care. She'll tell you what she means. She said, don't gain no more weight. I'm getting big. I was like, all right, that's cool. She also complained about the not getting enough attention, but she loves attention. She's listen. I ain't gonna say she's a Jehovah's Witness, so she don't believe in this, but she's an August Leo. Whether she believes it or not, she wants that attention, and she gonna get it. She gonna get it. But shout out to my Uncle Hal. He's been holding it down. Shout out to my mom. And when we get back, I'm going to talk about a few other things that I got into. I really want to talk about Asian street food night market because I went there too, like I told y'all. And it was a good turnout. It was fun. But I saw some clips on the internet. Was I throwing hands or was they throwing hands? We're going to talk about it when we get back. All right. Don't forget, call us at 833-212-1017 if you want to join the conversation. You can also hit us up on YouTube. 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Join the chat. Join the conversation. You can also text that line, 833-212-1017. We'll be right back after these messages.
Don't go anywhere.
Milwaukee, can you still afford to keep your lights on? Bills are up, shut-off notices are up. People are choosing between the electric bill and groceries. And now, We Energies wants to build giant data centers and then send the bill to us. Low-income, moderate-income families and renters, seniors on fixed income. If you're against paying for someone else's power, if you want the power, you pay for the power. Tell the Public Service Commission. Comment now or come speak at Marquette the first week of September. Go to walnutway.org.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
War with my blood, if it's beef, we gon' thug it out. Mac 90 with a 50, put it down. Ain't no scary around here, but it's for real. Catch you lacking, ain't no playing, we gon' end it here. I done shot it out with the best, but I'm still standing. Bullets ripping through that vest, and I say you fell off, bounce back.
I was not playing. Hey! Yeah. That's that. You know what I'm saying? They left me up in here by myself. I almost said a bad word. Look, but I'm on point today. Y'all ain't gonna catch me slipping. Look, Raiden left me in charge. I'm in charge.
You in charge. I want to hear you say that.
I'm in charge.
Say it.
I'm in charge.
You my partner.
I know.
Say it, I'm in charge.
I'm in charge.
That's how I feel, y'all. But before we get into Asian Street Food Night Market, which I told y'all we was going to talk about because I went there. I came, I saw, and I conquered. I seen it. I seen all the things with my eyes. So I want to give y'all my first-hand experience. But before that, I got something on the menu. Zach brought me the menu. And I'm going to tell y'all what's on it. Looking to discover, support, looking to discover and support local businesses in our community? Then make sure you tune in every Friday at 8 a.m. to Truth in the Morning with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman for What the Business Is, powered by We Energies. Each week, you'll hear the local business owners as they share what their business is, where they're located, and one valuable lesson they've learned along the way. We Energies is proud to help power local businesses and communities they serve. Don't miss What the Business Is every Friday at 8 a.m. only on The Truth in the Morning with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman. Powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Woo! I know that's right. Man, y'all, I'm trying to get in this seat. Look, my legs swinging and stuff. I don't know how to adjust the chair up in here. If y'all see me fidgeting, that's what I'm trying to do. My legs.
The handle is on your right.
It's all right. I like I'm gonna kick off my sandals. I told y'all I was gonna get real comfy. Look, they falling off anyways because my feet swinging. Look, they only got tall people up in here for real. Feet ain't even touching the bar that your feet supposed to sit on. But anywho, goodness, I'm gonna have to.
How short are you?
I'm okay now. All right, it's all about the heart. It's not about the height. Dang it.
Really?
Yeah. All right. So. Oh my God. Anywho.
I didn't say that on there. Don't worry.
With that being said, I went to Asian Night Market, y'all. I wonder if anybody else went over to the Asian Street Food Night Market. Because I headed over there. It was at Veterans Park, right? They had a turnout. Like, Veterans Park, I feel like it felt smaller because it was so packed. Yeah, those lines were longer than locusts, all right? And the prices, okay? Bobby Brown ain't got nothing on them prices. They was high, okay? So listen, to try to get anything, we're going to kick the story off by explaining to y'all how long these lines were. To get anything, you had to divide and conquer. Like, I had some cousins in one line, some cousins in the other line. We shared what we wanted, and we just waited in these lines. And then for me, I was walking around looking for a shorter line just in case it was somewhere else. Like, it became the point where you don't even care what you're going to get. You're like, whichever line is shortest, that's where I'm going to go. Okay? That's exactly what we were doing at that point. Well, I was like, listen, if I find a shorter line, I'm buying whatever they got. They can sell me Vienna sausages and ramen noodles. I don't care.
Damn.
All right. But to get anything, that's what you had to do. And you were hoping to find like a shorter line. After all that, I did end up getting like candied fruit, which was like literally like grape strawberry dipped in like sugar. I don't like, it was just
probably like melted Jolly Ranchers.
That's literally kind of what it was, and it was like $13. I got 5 pieces of small fruit, $13. I felt like I did something good with my life though, because I got it. You know what I mean? It took 15 to 30 minutes, but I got my candied fruit. And then I got Korean corn dogs for the first time.
What's the difference?
Listen, I personally feel like this is made up. I don't know if they eating that in Korea. It was literally like the corn outside of a corn dog with mozzarella cheese, and then when you got to the bottom, it was like a little Vienna sausage there.
Not gonna lie, that sounds disgusting.
It was something, and then they had hot Cheeto chips on the top. That's what I was like, I don't know if this is a Korean thing. I feel like this might be a TikTok Korean thing.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think that's traditional, y'all. But hey, I got it. I was happy I got something. Like, it was a lot. So it was so packed. Like, I ended up actually leaving like after we got food because there's not a lot to do. So if you're there looking for like oh, I want to indulge myself in the culture, right? You it ain't gonna be too much indulging going on. It's just a bunch of long lines to get TikTok food. That's what I thought. I feel like maybe the real food like had longer lines, and that's why I ended up where I was. But Yeah, so that's what happened. Ended up leaving. There's not much entertainment going on. They had one entertainment stage where like people were performing. I think they could just perform randomly, right? And that was okay. But we left. But it looks like after leaving, a little drama kicked off. I wasn't in it, y'all. Like I said, I'll let y'all know when we got back that if I was in it or not. I don't think I was in it. But there was a little disruption, and a video started circulating on Facebook showing that fights was breaking out. We do have the videos. We do have the video, and Zach is playing it right now. So if you're available, go over to YouTube. You can check out the video of what went down. You can check out what went down at the market. They was getting down. Them brothers was fast as lightning. So yeah, man, they was getting active. And look, I don't know why people act like Milwaukee problems only belong to one community. I genuinely feel like all these communities got their own mess going on. As we see, look, they quick to be like, when the black people show up, stuff start going down. That's how they act. They be like, oh, the black people came to Asian Fest, now it's a fight. But as you see in these videos, the black people was bystanders. They just was eating they Korean corn dogs and they overpriced fruit. That's what we was doing. We was like, this ain't got nothing to do with us. But we will watch. We will observe. What it mandated reporters. They record, they post online, and they keep it moving. We was doing all right. Okay? We didn't jump in. We was minding our business, all right? And it was a nice amount of black people in there trying to check out the vibes, get some food, and enjoy the culture. But like I said, every group has its own mess going on. Look at it. They was getting down. And it got me thinking, like, as much mess that goes on Milwaukee's north side, all the grief that, like, black people get when we show up to these events, or, like, they act like we show up to the event and there goes the neighborhood. I will say I grew up on the north side, born and raised, through and through, straight off of Congress, 51st to be specific. That street y'all keep rolling down when y'all on a high-speed chase. Yeah, that one. Born and raised there. I stayed there until I moved, right? And I will say I went to Congress Elementary. The very first kid that I ever knew that had been shot was an Asian kid because his brother was in an Asian gang. He was like 10.
Sounds pretty violent to me.
And I'm like, bro, like, I went to a predominantly black school. I went to Congress, y'all. Y'all know what Congress is. I went to Congress Elementary. So you know it's so, like, it's not very diverse. But the only kid that got shot, he was Asian. The first shootout I ever witnessed live and in living color, y'all, was at Ning Park. Me and my mom, we went to Wendy's. We was like, we gonna eat our Wendy's in the park. We gonna have a little mother-daughter time. Some Asians jump out the car. They was chasing each other around the park. They N-word, F-U, N-word. We looking around like, where the N-words at? Where they at? No, it was them.
Oh.
They were talking about each other.
Oh.
They was talking about each other. Then they pulled out a gun and started shooting at each other. I was like, Mom, I think it's time to go. I was really young then. So like I said, every community has its issues, but too often the black community's mess is what gets highlighted. It gets repeated and pushed out the hardest. Sometimes, a lot of times, by people outside of our community. Yeah. Like, it's too much. Like, I feel like we also push out our own BS, right? But then for some reason, people is obsessed with our BS. You know what I'm saying? Like, our stuff spreads so much because not only are we pushing it, but other people from outside our community are pushing it too.
That's weird activity.
It's weird activity, but they love it. They love that. Listen, they love us. And I guess it makes me wonder, why is it that our mess is what's being pushed out? Because like I said, all of the festivals this year seem to have a little commotion. But something like you would think, right? Like, oh, Asian festival, it's going to be so peaceful. And they was throwing hands and feet. They was getting down in them videos, and there's multiple videos. It wasn't just one fight. It wasn't.
Yeah, let me pull up this other one, matter of fact.
Right. Brother Z gonna pull up another clip for us because it wasn't just one fight, which is crazy to me. It's one of those things where it really makes you think, why is it that we push this narrative that, oh, it's only the North Siders, it's only the black people in Milwaukee, they're the problem. You hear that too much. Brother Z got the video clip over there. But yeah, that's just what's on my mind today. It was definitely a good time. I had fun at Asian Fest. Like I said, it was something to experience. A lot of things are something to experience. Would I pay $13 for 5 pieces of fruit on a stick again? Probably not. But I feel like they didn't have the price up either. So
Did they do that on purpose?
Yeah, because I waited 30 minutes in a line. Of course, I'm going to give you my money for whatever you got. They could have gave me a cup and 1 grape. And I would have been like, you know what? I waited for this. I'm going to pay for it. That's what I would have did. So they knew. But yeah, when we get back, Zach going to play that clip for us. And we're going to move along. And we're going to
I'm going to play it as we going out because I don't know if there's cussing.
You already go. He going to play the clip right now as we go out into our break. Make sure you give us a call at 833-212-1017 if you want to share any thoughts, views, or opinions. We'll be right back after these messages.
He said, here comes the big boss. Let's get it on. We took a bow and made a stand. Started swaying with the hand. Sudden motion made me skip. Now we're into a brand new trip. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning.
Don't get into that. Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about 4 walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axhousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
That there, Florida, Arkansas, how you do that there? They say, who
Island bought, I shoulda knew that. Smoking my herb, fresh off the curb, jelly, Johnny preserve, nothing but balls in my word. And a Mossberg pistol grip pump on my lap at all times. Whatever, however, cause young fools still dying. Island bought, say what? You can play, but say what?
Man, we are back. You guys are listening to the Lunch Break with Ray, Nitty, and maybe Shannon. It's only maybe Shannon today, but y'all gonna be okay. Y'all in good hands. We got Brother Z holding it down with the production and the sound. All right. So even though Ray is missed, we got this. All right. Listen, let's kick it to the chat before we get back into my weekend story and head into another conversation. Y'all see why we was talking about playing that what we played. Y'all see.
Bruh. Long-term storytelling is what that's called.
Long-term storytelling. I like that, brothers. Yeah, I like that. So let's kick into the chat. We got Dr. Robert Bico Baker. Shannon, what's up? What's up? We got Liquid. I thought Shannon was from Baltimore. Why would I be from Baltimore?
What?
I ain't never been to Baltimore.
What?
Do I look like I'm from Baltimore? I'm from Milwaukee's North Side. I don't play like that. Anyways, Liquid energy. You hear me? I almost start playing with my fingers up in here again. Brother Z said, "Put them hands down." Can't do that on the radio. So I don't do it no more. But anywho, one of one said, "Miss Shannon, fine every day." OMG, thank you. I try. Thank you. Liquid also said, "You want the Korean experience? Pay the tax." What, we paying tariffs? I have 5 pieces of fruit. It wasn't even like a mango and an apple, like a full piece of fruit. I'm talking one grape, a singular grape, a singular strawberry, 5 stacked on a stick, candy coated. And I paid $13 for that. That ain't no tax. That's highway robbery is what they call that.
Yeah.
That's robbery. And they didn't have the price up. Blank stare. Blink, blink. I'm just staring at the screen. I was like, I guess I gotta pay. I waited for 30 minutes for this. Jeez. Anywho, RC said, OMG. Not really a city girl. What's up? What's up? I'm holding it down. Solo dolo. Shout out to Rado. I know that's right. But let's get back into my weekend story, y'all. And how it ties into the next thing I want to talk about, right? So after a long day, after Asian Fest, they was holding it down over there, knocking each other upside the head. By then I was gone and I was back in Brookfield. And I decided I wanted a little drinky drink, right? I wasn't looking for a party. I was just looking for a cute little sip, something calm, right? And this is Brookfield, mind y'all, right? I don't play in them people territory too often.
That's where the flock cameras be.
That's where the flock cameras at, and that's where the Tom Tiffany signs is at too. And I'm gonna tell y'all why I knew that. Because I was like, let me find a small local bar. That's all I wanted. I was like, I'm going to go to a small, bar off somewhere, right? So the closest small bar I could find, the parking lot was real dark. It was like 2 cars in there. I was like, okay. Then I was like driving around because I like to drive around before I park some places just to make sure I'm safe. They was riddled with Tom Tiffany signs. And I was like, I could go in because I'm just here for a drink. I'm not here to make no friends. No way. I don't care what y'all got going on. But then I was like, I got my Truth shirt on because Truth Family Fest was that morning. I got the Truth band that said Black Talk Media and all that. And I was like, all right, they don't take kindly to that around there. So I was like, I'm not going to go in there. Maybe not tonight. That could be a conversation starter. So I took my black toe over to Bar Louie. That's where I went. And it was more populated, of course. It was pretty packed at the bar. There's more cameras, more light in the parking lot. So if I go missing, they can't say, oh, she went missing from the bar. She might have hung herself like everybody else been doing. That's what I think when I see stuff like that. So I just did not go. And I went to Bar Louie where we gonna have eyes on me. I gotta be you gotta be smarter. Work smarter, not harder. So I went to Bar Louie, and you know what? Like I said, it was more popular. And then sure enough, I ended up meeting people, and like I said, what I had on was a conversation starter. It was 2 Jamaicans sitting next to me at the bar. And I had my Truth wristband on. And obviously they were, oh, Black Talk, what's that all about? And we start talking about it because they told me that they were pretty new to America. And one of them started talking about kind of how Americans have these stereotypes and prejudgments, right? And he was like, I hope our conversation shows you like we're not like how they make us seem and blah, blah. And of course, that turned into a whole conversation about relationships and misunderstanding and like how African Americans and Black people from other parts of the world view each other. Because personally, for me, I know what I think. I know what I think, what I know. A lot of them Black, I know African American. They don't want to be African American. They don't like us. They be African, Jamaican, Puerto Rican.
Oh, but they love saying that N-word.
They love the N-word.
They love it.
But if you profile them as Black African American, I know Black. They be mad. They don't want to be like, they be like,
No, papi. No, papi. No, so Black. No, so Black.
I had an African friend. She was like, why do y'all like Henny so much? I'll be like, I got the Henny. I was like, what? Excuse me? They don't like, I think they have this misunderstanding about us because American media. They're watching what American media is putting out, and they have these prejudgments about us. And in turn, it's just a big misunderstanding. And like while talking to him, he did bring up like, I guess I don't know much about African American history. I don't know like why it is the way it is. I don't know why y'all like be so mad about XYZ. And I'm just like, you know me, I'm a yapper. I'm going to run it down a little bit. I'm going to pull up some TikToks for you. I'm going to be like, this is the rundown. That's why we do what we do. And that's perfect because later on, I see a clip of Master P. And we're going to talk about him. And what bothered me mostly about this clip is what I got from it, what I felt from it was that he was saying, forget our history. And it's so important not to do that. And we're going to talk more about that, but I'm going to ask Zach to play the clip for y'all. And y'all tell me what y'all got from this clip. Let me know how y'all feeling.
You don't have to be the smartest person in the world. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You just got to have integrity and do good business. And these doors will open up for you, building great relationships. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, trying to get that negative mindset out of our culture, because they still going back to, oh man, slavery, they did us this. And I'm like, you still harping on that, man. I never harped on that because I can't change the past, but I can change the future. And I think you got to get used to us being successful. And I think a lot of us, we block our own blessings because we don't think that we could do it because we're looking at a color. So, I mean, Muhammad Ali was a guy that, and I loved like his story because he didn't care about that. He just wanted to be around good people, but he did represent for the culture.
Right.
And I want more African-American owned tennis shoe companies. I don't want this just to be me. I want so many different product brands owned by us, but making it for everybody. Because think about it, when other cultures make products, they don't make it for them, they make it for everybody. And so I want that mindset of our people. If I could change that, that's the way we're going to bridge the wealth gap.
So, in a recent interview, Master P talked about closing the racial wealth gap. He encouraged Black Americans to focus on building business, creating ownership, and changing the future. That's pretty much what he was saying. But there was backlash, and like I said, Master P said he doesn't believe Black people should keep going back to slavery and harping on slavery, and he argued that we can't change the past, but we can change the future. And that's where some people say, hold on now, including myself. I was like, all right, I don't know. All right. Critics are not necessarily arguing against entrepreneurship. Master P has spent decades preaching about ownership, financial literacy, economic empowerment. He built No Limit Records independently and turned it into a major entertainment empire, which salute for that, right? Love that. I love that for him. And yes, be successful, be financially literate, you know? But a lot of critics said there's a difference between refusing to let history control your future and telling people to just stop talking about it. Like when people say that, it genuinely bothers me. You know what I'm saying? Because slavery did not just leave behind memories. It was followed by Jim Crow, segregation, redlining, discriminatory housing policies, unequal access to education and employment, and barriers to business ownership and wealth accumulation. Those systems matter when we talk about the racial wealth gap. Look, I got a lot of rhyming words. You know what I'm saying? Those things matter. We can't just be like, stop talking about it. History is bound to repeat itself if you don't know what happened. That's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, build your wealth, pop your stuff. But what we ain't gonna do is just tell us to stop talking about our history when it genuinely matters right now today. That's insane. It's probably easy for somebody that's seen millions and millions of dollars. Like, you know what? Forget it. Forget about it. But not for the regular, degular person. Not for us. Right? Federal Reserve data has shown a major gap in median family wealth between white and black families. That gap cannot be explained by individual efforts alone. It also reflects generations of unequal access to land, housing, credit, education, inheritance, and investments. All right? All right? The history of housing is especially important. For decades, government policy and private lending practices made it harder for black families to obtain mortgages, to buy homes in neighborhoods where property values later grew dramatically, right? You couldn't even buy a house where you knew you was going to make some money off of it. You don't get this one. You can get this hut over here that ain't going to be worth nothing tomorrow. That's what you can get. You don't get that. But we're going to get deeper into it after we come back from break. We got to head off to break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, you can call me. 833-212-1017. I want to hear from y'all. You can text that line too, but I'd rather hear from you. Also, join us in the chat. We're on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Join the chat. We'll be right back after these messages.
Our maintenance costs, rent collection, tenant concerns, and day-to-day demands of managing your rental property becoming overwhelming? Take the stress off your shoulders with Odom Investments and Property Management. We provide professional, investor-focused property management designed to protect your investments while maximizing your peace of mind. From tenant communication and maintenance coordination to rent collection and more, we've got you covered. Call 1-855-ODOM-WAY today. That's 1-855-636-6929.
There's a little time left in the summer and there's still so much to get involved in as we end the summer safe. Milwaukee youth ages 12 to 18 can tap into free safe summer sites, activities, food, music, sports, creative experiences, and free youth events happening all across the city. There's something to do, somewhere to go, and something new happening every week. Visit tapinmke.com to see what's happening near you. That's tapinmke.com. Milwaukee, let's end the summer safe and start the school year right.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Y'all hearing? Hey, I could separate the artist from the BS. But I'm going to call him.
Wait, what'd he do?
That was him. Come on, what did he do? Zach, don't play with me. I was going to start from the top. Play that clip one more time, please. Oh, wait, what'd he do? Yeah, so we are talking about Master P in his latest interview where he described that he feels like to build wealth, we need to stop harping on the past. We need to get over it. You know what I mean? We need to basically look forward and not look backward. Don't get distracted by what was happening in the history and slavery did this and da-da-da. Don't talk about it. Just get to work. That's what it sounds like to me. And I'm asking y'all what it sounds like to y'all. Right? And then I'm also giving y'all a little history lesson. We talking about why it's important that we don't forget our history and why we are where we are today. All right? We're going to kick it to the chat real quick. We have Dr. Robert Biko Baker, cook Shannon. Let her cook. Yeah, I'm cooking. All right? We also got Marty Gray. He built no limit off drug money. And that's interesting I don't know. I wasn't peddling no drugs, you know what I mean? But what I can say is it's easy to say just continue on when you build something off drug money. You don't need to ask for a loan. You got the money. You don't got to ask nobody. You can just, go under the mattress. You ain't got to get a line of credit. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to move into a better neighborhood to be successful. Your neighborhood is where you thriving off that drug money. If that is the case, I haven't looked too deeply into that, so I don't know what he built no limit off of. But if so, I guess I could see why he could be like, you know what? Don't think about all that slavery stuff, because I guess them dumping crack into our communities, he built his money off of that. But that's a whole nother subject. Here I go. My bad. But Barr said, okay, Marty, but the country was built off of slavery. And that puts us back where we was going, all right?
That part.
Period. So, like I was saying before, the history of housing is especially important. For decades, government policy and private lending practices made it harder for Black families to obtain mortgages and buy homes in neighborhoods where property values later grew dramatically. And home ownership is one of the biggest ways American families have historically built and passed down wealth. All right? Black communities also built successful business districts, and sometimes those communities were attacked. Tulsa Greenwood District, known as Black Wall Street, was destroyed by a white mob in 1921. That never got back to where it was. We had an interview on here talking about it. How it could never be at its greatness, how it could never get back to where it was because they did what they did. And it was so effective, right? When we did try to mind our business and build our own, they said, we don't like that. We don't burn it down. Somebody get a pitchfork. Somebody get a tiki torch. That's what they said. They probably ain't literally said, but I think that's what they said. I think that's how I envision those conversations going.
Somebody else said they need a white sheet too.
They said, get a white sheet, get a tiki torch, and we gonna go to work. That's what happened. We wasn't in their communities messing with their stuff. We wasn't like, you know what, we gonna take over what they got. We gonna integrate. We gonna get in they, we want what's theirs. We tried to build what was ours. And they got their tiki torches, they got their little hoods, and they got active. And they tore us apart. So back to what I was saying. Tulsa's Greenwood District, known as Black Wall Street, was destroyed by a white mob in 1921. Rosewood, Florida was destroyed in racial violence in 1923. So when people say just build wealth, some Black Americans respond, build with what access, what protection, and what starting point? Mind you, when we talked about what happened in Tulsa, I think the only people that got arrested were the Black people that was trying to defend themselves. Yeah, so what protection? We gonna build it, burn it down, and we're gonna be like, we gotta protect ourselves, and we're gonna go to jail. See, I was gonna get into that Carmelo Anthony stuff again, because see what happened when you protect yourself. Anyways, moving onward. And then there's the comparison people make to Germany's response to the Holocaust. I feel like that's not even talked about enough, right? I don't think that's talked about enough. So Germany did not build its modern identity by pretending the Holocaust never happened. The country developed systems of education, memorialization, legal accountability, and compensation for their survivors. Right? Germany's process by far was not perfect, right? It was not perfect. But the accountability did not happen overnight. The remembrance became part of a national culture rather than something survivors were simply told to get over. As when you talk African Americans, we're told to get over it. It was long ago. My grandmother was born in the 30s. She's still kicking. She just told me I was fat the other day. I told y'all that.
Damn.
She is still alive and well. So she was born in an era where it was still very slave-like. And you telling me to get over it, we're still feeling the effects to this day. All right? Anywho, now we compare that with the United States. Somebody said the 30s stop line. My grandmother is 90-something years old. That beautiful lady, that beautiful chocolate drop that called me fat the other day. Yes, she's in her 90s. Very alive and very well. She been giving them people HE double hockey sticks up in there. They said she don't press the call button. She just, hello. But that's me going off on a tangent. I'm talking about something else. We can talk about my grandma later on. But yeah, now compare that with the United States. Slavery ended in 1865, but the federal government never created a national reparation program for the descendants of enslaved people. Congress has passed separate resolutions apologizing for slavery and Jim Crow, but the country has never reached a full national consensus on repair or restitution.
Crazy, because I think the Asians got stuff.
Man,
like
everybody but the blacks.
Everybody. Yeah.
They tell us shut up and dribble, shut up and influence. Go do something else. They don't want to hear that. They sick of us, but they want to remember everything else.
Like, why did they deserve it, but we don't? Like, I don't get it.
Because I feel like, I personally feel like they are still reaping the benefits of what we went through, and if they acknowledge that what we did was wrong, they feel like it'll be a segue into us being like, okay, well, you owe us. That's what I think. I heard a while ago, right, that there are white families that have documents that could potentially like place us with our other families because people were separated and sold and all those things that they have in their attics that show who was sold to, so we can be back with our families or kind of put pieces of our history together, because a lot of black people don't know anything past their grandma.
So we can't do no ancestry.
We can't do no ancestry. We can't do no like, oh, well, this is my family slogan. This is great-great-grandpop. We don't know that, right? So I do feel like a part of it is them being afraid that we will want what's ours, or we will want stake in what they family have, right? And like I said, Germany did something different, and that distinction matters because an apology is not the same thing as repair. The effects of those policies are still measurable. Enslaved people were denied wages and property. Formerly enslaved people received little meaningful land after emancipation. Black families were later excluded from many programs and practices that helped white families purchase homes and build assets. So when Black Americans talk about slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, or racial violence, they are not necessarily refusing to move forward. They may be explaining why the starting line was never equal. And this is where I think both sides of the conversation can exist at the same time. Master P has a point when he says constantly looking backward cannot be the only strategy. He's correct. That can be our only strategy, but I do feel like we can't erase our history or act like that's okay, because that's what people want us to do. Just forget about our history, and that's
my bad. The other takeaway though is like to not cater to just black people with whatever your business is. Like cater to everybody.
Right. So Black communities need businesses, property, investments, intellectual property, political power, and institutions that can pass assets to the next generation. But his critics have a point too, and we'll get into that after these messages. We're going to be right back. You are listening to The Truth 101.7. You're listening to the lunch break with maybe Shannon and Ray Nitty. I'm only here today. We're going to kick it to the chat real quick before we head out to break. We have RC Creations. America was built on a lot of things too. Even drugs are somewhere within that story. We've got, I know that's right. Dr. Biko Baker said hello. Taji said not fat. Yes. You know, grandma don't play. She don't care who she insult. She been around long enough.
That's wild.
She don't care.
That's wild.
She don't care. We're going to get back to it. But after these messages, we're going to be right back. Call us 833-212-1017. We'll be right back.
Don't go anywhere. National Sandwich Month is here, and Cousins Subs is celebrating all month long with exclusive rewards for Cousins Club members. Join Cousins Club today and unlock special offers, bonus points, and extra ways to earn rewards every time you order throughout August. It's our way of helping you get even more from your favorite subs. From classics to grill-to-order favorites and deli fresh subs, there's always something delicious to discover at Cousins Subs. Celebrate National Sandwich Month with Cousins Club and start earning rewards today. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says,
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com, with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 101.7 FM and 1510 AM, W269DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha, live from American Family Insurance Studios.
Who that? Talking about who that? Run up on me, you get your beat blue black. You don't get nerve, but I'm off the curb, push mountains of herb. You niggas already heard the bro bird. Keep a pump on his lap at all times. Forever, however, cause young me, they trying. See him and be like, huh? What? Huh? Give a like what? Blow my weed, smash the gas, and hop up in my lane. Should be looking way different through these $1,000 frames.
You guys are back live with the lunch break crew.
Part two.
We are in hour 2. Man, where did the time go, y'all? I'm gonna just stay here. Y'all have to put me out because I'm in charge, all right? Dang it. But Brother Z brought me something on the menu, and I want to share it with y'all, all right? A huge thank you to everyone who came out and supported True Family Fest 2026. Special thanks to educators, credit union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, artists working in education, City of Milwaukee, DCWS, AB Core, Ascension, and Tap In MKE. Thank you for helping us make this event possible, and to our vendors, volunteer, listeners, and families for showing up and supporting our community. From all of us at 101.7 The Truth, thank you. Thank you, Milwaukee. Man, that was good. But we was digging into something better. I'm going to call that meat and potatoes. We was getting into it. All right. You hear me? Listen, so we were talking about Master P in his most recent interview where he talked about building success and believing that you can't build success by looking back at our history and harping on slavery. We talked about how Germany handled the Holocaust versus how America handled slavery. We talked about why history matters, right? We talked about how we understand what he meant. But we also want to get into why the critics have a point too. And I know Brother Z brought up a good point when he said, I wonder why they don't want to pretty much acknowledge this happened and this still affects us to this day. Because like I said, I think it's still happening and we still have byproducts of what happened. And that's why they can't admit it, because they still doing it. They still eating off of what they did. I remember there was an episode. I don't know if any of you guys watched Atlanta with Childish Gambino, but there was an episode that basically, like, if they did acknowledge it and give reparations, where they would come from and like how it would come from like the families that pretty much profited off of the backs of slavery. And like, it's some people that are like, yeah, it makes sense. But then people losing so much that they were used to having, they were committing suicide and all this crazy stuff. But it's a good episode. If you guys watch it, you'll see why I'm referencing it. So shout out to Atlanta. Make sure you guys watch that. All right. But let's get into why his critics have a point too. You cannot fully understand today's wealth gap without understanding the history that helped create it. Remembering slavery does not automatically mean having a victim mentality. Demanding accountability does not mean refusing to work. And wanting economic empowerment does not require pretending that the past has no connection to the present. Okay? Maybe the better conversation isn't history versus entrepreneurship. Maybe it's history and entrepreneurship, right? Because you got to know your history to know where you're going. That's why you got so many people stuck, because you know something ain't right, but you don't know what's right. You don't know what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's important for us to know our history so we can avoid the same hiccups that we've had in the past. It's important to know so we don't get got the same way that we had in the past. If we don't know our history, if we don't know where we came from, if we don't know how we ended up in this place as is, we can't get out of this place. So, like I said, maybe the better conversation is history and entrepreneurship. Robert Land said, you talking that talk shit, and thank you, Robert. Thank you. Let me get back in it. Now, what happened? Understand how it still know what happened, right? And understand how it still affects the present. Demand honest acknowledgement and meaningful repair. Then use that knowledge to build something your children and grandchildren can inherit. Because remembering the past and building the future do not have to be opposites. So, cousins, here's the question, y'all. Should Black Americans be told to stop talking about slavery and focus only on building wealth? Or do we believe America should fully acknowledge slavery, Jim Crow, discriminatory practices and policies that helped create today's wealth gap before asking us to simply move on? What y'all think? Like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack there. We can't just look at that clip and be like, you know what? Mr. Master P had a point there, right? Look, some of the comments, they calling him Massa P now. He tried to come back. He tried to come back and be like, well, that ain't really what I was saying. But it's very important. People with a platform, with a voice, talk about those things with a lot of thoughtfulness. It's very important that you watch what you say, because I feel like somebody that's been rich for a long time, it's very easy to forget, right? It's easy to forget like the leverage that you hold. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where it's like you just say things and you later on you're like, oh, well, like, this is what I meant. No, say what you mean and mean what you say. Say it right now. Say it right then and there. They calling them Massa P. M-A-S-S-A, y'all.
But are we really expecting him to be politically correct?
Hey, if he gonna go as far as, I think, like, first of all, he was talking business. I think it was a Forbes interview. He's talking business and telling us, stop harping on slavery. Don't even bring it up. That's what I think. If you haven't really thought deeply about something as fragile as that, even when, like, I was talking to these guys at Bar Louie, I was like, this is a conversation for when I'm sober, but we can get into it a little bit. Because I got some things to say, because I'm a yap no matter what. But I was like, we really got to dig into this when we sober, because I can only tell you so much right now in a bar. He's like, tell me, educate me. Let me know about African American. I'm like,
those are the worst ones.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, people, like, the fact that people really think we were slaves and then we weren't. They're like, you know what? My bad, everybody. Oopsie daisy. Y'all can go find your families after I raped your kids and your husband and your wife, tore them apart, cut some stuff off, sold them, did this and that. Slavery's over. Well, I don't feel no way. No hard feelings. Go do you. After they had to fight to not be looked at as pets, basically. We were property. We wasn't their friend helping them build something. And then after that, when they was, like, giving us money, it wasn't nearly enough. Like, when they were paying us for our services, and then we didn't have the education, so we didn't know that we were getting got. Like, yeah, if you work 1,000,000 hours, I'll pay you $10. You might get an acre. Them people was working till they died. If we being for real, a lot of them people that were trying to do the right thing and, like, you know what, I'm gonna work and they gonna actually look out for me. Working day and night. I remember my grandma telling me she remembers her dad used to yell in his sleep like he was working, like the cattle. Like, he used to, like, have dreams about that.
Oh, like having nightmares or something?
Yeah,
or just, like,
well,
talking in his sleep?
Talking in his sleep, because he worked so much. He would be like, how they would, like, man the cattle. He was, like, yelling those commands and yelling work stuff. And it's like, that's how much they work, these people.
I'm not gonna lie. I have a confession.
Oh, goodness. What's the confession?
It's been a while, but there's been times where I've woken myself up out of my sleep because I've been screaming, like, go to break.
Exactly.
Like, break.
That's
break.
how much you work.
So it's that's crazy.
So when you think about it, that's how much they was working in them fields. Like, when you do something so repetitively and so often, that's like all you think. You can't even escape from it in your sleep.
That's crazy.
Crazy work. But after this break, y'all, I want to talk about Target's Halloween costume backlash. This was all over the place. Target is once again facing some criticism from parts of the Black community. We can talk about why they were facing it before. We can talk about all the things. But now, Halloween coming up, they facing it once again. And I'm going to tell y'all why I think they keep falling into these these situations, okay? Don't go anywhere. You are listening to The Lunch Break on The Truth 101.7 with Ray, Nitty, and maybe Shannon. I'm holding it down today, but Ray'll be back soon. Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. Craving something fresh, fun, and absolutely delicious? Then head to Goody Gourmets, celebrating 20 legendary years of gourmet popcorn that's bursting with flavor. From sweet to savory and everything in between, every batch is handcrafted with premium ingredients made to bring joy to every bite. Stop by 6369 North Green Bay Avenue and discover why Milwaukee can't get enough of Goody Gourmets. Open Monday through Saturday. Treat yourself today at goodygourmets.com. Goody Gourmets. Fresh, delicious, legendary.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Okay, let's get it. Okay, let's get it.
21.
All them boys telling, man, don't put that on my city. Hold on, let me get it. I'm in a bulletproof black truck, I president it. This for them girls shaking out, doing hair in kitchens. I need a 10p lemon pepper, Magic City, what the fuck going? I got a pocket full of money, who the fuck going? I got a phone full of hitters who get stepped on.
We are back. You guys are listening to The Lunch Break. Yeah, what's on the menu today, man? We are listening to The Lunch Break. We are live. You're listening to 101.7 The Truth. Shout out to the chat. One of one. Robert Lance, Ernest Him is in the chat. He said Shannon is in the stew. What's good, black people? Man, we getting into some meat and potatoes, y'all. We cooking over here. We cooking. Look, he done gave me the mic and I done took off. We already got into Asian Fest. We recapped my weekend. We talked about how I went to Bar Louie because I was discouraged. I saw too many Tom Tiffany signs at the first spot I wanted to go to. Couldn't do that. But then we also talked about how I got into a conversation about African-American history at Bar Louie. We talked about Master P and how in his latest interview, he pretty much said that black people need to focus on success and forget our history. We talked about that. We played the clip. But now we going to kick it off to something else that's been pretty hot. A hot conversation, okay? That is taking off. I've seen people talk about it all day yesterday. I feel like we the first people live on the air to talk about it. I do feel like we the first to talk about this, right? Target Halloween costume backlash. All right. So Target is once again facing criticism from parts of our Black community. And this time it is over a Halloween costume that many people say disturbingly looks similar to a racist blackface minstrel imagery. All right. And this is important to talk about because we was just supposed to be boycotting that place. People still up in there giving money. I done seen a few videos on the internet of people being harassed and they like, I knew I shouldn't have been in there. That's what I get for sneaking off in Target. This is what I get. So we once again, Target is back back in the headlines, and the controversy centers around a children's glows under black like circus clown costume. The name too much. Y'all know y'all up to no good. And it's from Target online. So after the images of the costume circulated online, critics pointed to the dark face covering and exaggerated facial features and said the design evoked historical characters that were used to demean Black people. Yeah. So we seeing this Halloween costume, we were like, that looks suspicious. That reminds us of something, right? So here's the bigger issue for some Black customers. This isn't happening out of happen chance, okay? This isn't just happening out of nowhere because Target already have a complicated relationship with us in the Black community. Because following the murder of George Floyd, the racial justice protest of 2020, Target publicly committed billions of dollars toward Black-owned businesses and expanded diversity and inclusion initiatives. They was like, we got y'all back. We got you. We're going to put billions into this. Don't y'all worry. That's what they said to us. They said they got our back. But in 2025, remember they started doing the DEI cutbacks, and Trump was like, we ain't got to do that no more. They said, cool. They was like, you know what? We ain't like y'all no way. Anyways, in 2025, Target announced that it was rolling back major portions of the diversity and equity inclusion efforts. So they took they word back. They was like, never mind. Right? That decision sparked backlash and helped fuel boycott efforts. And other activists stood on business. They was like, nah, we ain't doing that. We y'all literally promised us billions. Y'all promised to make us feel equal. And in 2025, look, got a hair in my face. When we ain't have to. They said, never mind. But not every Black business owner supported that boycott because some Black-owned brands rallied on Target for access to millions of shoppers. They rely on Target for access to millions of shoppers. So there has never been one single Black community position on the company, but that history is why this Halloween costume controversy is hitting different. Yeah, so I want this video to play. I'm showing the image right here. Well, Brother Z is showing us the image of what people kind of think this looks like. The posing and everything, right? That's what they had on their website. It's insane. The kid is posed just like the caricature. And I'm gonna play this clip that I found online, and I thought it was really good because it's two white people from a white person, but it's actually good for us as well because, like we said before, we have a lot of people that think we should forget our history, and she gives a little bit of a history lesson. So go ahead, play that clip for us, brothers.
Clown, what's the problem? Target put this children's Halloween costume on its website, and Black users on Threads immediately recognized the imagery as reminiscent of historic minstrel caricatures. Cue white people in their comments saying, I just see a clown. So white person to white person. Let's dive into why that reaction just makes you look like kind of a clown. Let's start with minstrel shows. These were wildly popular 19th century performances, where white actors would darken their faces and perform exaggerated racist caricatures of black people, portraying them as lazy, ignorant, hypersexual, any of the racist stereotypes that are still prevalent today. What's interesting is that minstrel shows were particularly popular among working class white audiences. By creating a degrading racist caricature of blackness, it gave white people who lacked wealth or social status a sense of racial belonging, racial superiority, regardless of class lines. And we still see that mentality reflected in today's politics, but I digress. One of the most famous characters to emerge from these shows was Jim Crow, a character created in the 1830s by white performer Thomas Dartmouth Rice. He's often known as the father of American minstrelsy. The character of Jim Crow embodied the visual tropes we see over and over again in blackface imagery. Exaggerated facial features like enormous mouths and smiles, prominent teeth and lips, and exaggerated body movements and poses. After the Civil War, black performers also participated in minstrel shows, as they were one of the few avenues into theater and economic opportunity. Black performers also wore blackface, and they performed the same exaggerated racial stereotypes. That's how powerful this imagery became. These racist images and caricatures were a visual language representing blackness in American pop culture for centuries. Now we're skipping a lot here because this is short form video content, but this brings us back to Target. When looking at this image, black people do not have the privilege of simply seeing a clown. They're recognizing a visual language that has been used to caricature black people for generations. And we know that Target has spent the past couple years retreating from its DEI initiatives. DEI was never about racial hiring quotas. It's about having people with different lived experiences and cultural knowledge in the room when something like this is being approved, who can say, hey, I'm not just seeing a clown here. This is why DEI is important. This is why knowing American history is important. Because learning about racism, Jim Crow, minstrelsy, white supremacy, and the way those ideas shaped American culture doesn't mean you hate America. It means you understand America. I just see a clown. What's the problem?
Man, my vanilla sister was cooking, wasn't she? So, like I said, and this rolled perfectly after Master P saying what he said, because it is so important that we know the history. I know some black people that will see that as well and just be like, I just see a clown. What are you talking about? The exaggerated mouth, the exaggerated teeth, the black boy's pose. It really hits a spot. Those who know. Man, those who know. And like I said, that history is why this Halloween costume controversy is hitting differently. Because of that history and because of Target's history, rolling back, stepping back. They walked that back, that DEI stuff that they was talking about. They said, never mind. And in my opinion, this happened because of that. If there were more black people in the room to say, hey, I don't think this look right. I don't know about that, y'all. Y'all better get it together. They probably wouldn't have fallen victim to, yet again, more backlash. Because somebody would have been able to tell them what the history is. Somebody would have been able to tell them something is not right here. So they go through all these processes before a costume hits the shelf. They don't just go on AliExpress and grab some costumes and throw them up on their website. This is Target we're talking about. There's processes. Everything is strategically thought through. The posing, the models, the look, everything. So please do not think that there aren't a room full of people going over what is going to be posted on Target's website. You can't just get up on there and just post what you want to. You can't just sell what you want to. Aaron is him said they do this every year. Some Bojangling costume. Babar said, so the sewing department in the factory didn't know this was wrong. The sewing department probably ain't got much to do with it, Babar. They probably just get a design and they get the sewing. They not in the rooms before they start sewing. There's somebody that drew this up. There's somebody that talked about how much it would be. There's somebody that talked about the design. There's somebody that talked about the model. There's somebody that came up with this. Somebody saw a picture and was like, you know what, we should go off of this and then reassemble it this way and do this way. This image touched so many people before it got to the consumer. That's the point I'm making. And if they hadn't walked back that DEI stuff, maybe somebody in the room would have been like, y'all might want to look at some history stuff. Maybe that ain't the best idea, right? And there is no evidence that I've seen establishing that Target intentionally designed the costume as blackface. There's no evidence, obviously, but if you know, you know. We know what it looks like. And you know what the problem is? Like I said, when you don't have these people in the rooms, there's people that probably have put this stuff out there and just thought it wasn't a big deal. Like when you think of like AliExpress, when you think of like these Asian companies, I've seen a few times that they'll do something and they'll apologize just because they was like, oh, I just thought it was American. I thought Americans just thought this was funny. And they'll say something racist and they just don't know. But they don't know because they don't know African Americans and they don't know anybody that can put them on game. So maybe it came out and it was an oopsie dent. But if they had us in the rooms, somebody would have told them something, right? The question critics are asking is, how did something that many people believe resembles a historically racist character make it through the design and approval process, merchandising process, especially after everything has happened between Target and Black customers? So, Target may be dealing with more than a Halloween costume controversy. It may be dealing with a trust problem. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Is it simply a bad costume that slipped through the cracks, or does it say something bigger about how Target understands and listens to the community that it serves? Give me a call. We at 833-212-1017. You can text that line too, or you can join us on the chat. We're on YouTube. 101.7 The Truth. Again, that number, 833-212-1017. We're going to head to break, but we're going to be back. Then we're going to get into somebody passed away yesterday, and whoopsie daisy. Kind of like how the costume passed through the cracks. That's how I feel about the death. But we're going to talk about it when we get back. Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
At UW Credit Union, we have best-in-class technology and peopleology. Like if you lose your card, you can stop by in-branch for a same-day replacement, or you can have a new one instantly issued to the app. So whether you prefer interacting with our snappy online interface or our in-person regular faces, UW Credit Union is always here for every you. And whichever you choose, it's the best of both worlds. Join today at uwcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
We got here, so we go to the club. 2 chains. What's that on that beat? R.I.P. we just killed the club. Track Patron out the bottle, almost killed the thug. Right now I'm so can't feel the truck. Too many haters in the air, I don't feel the love. Look, R.I.P. Yeah, R.I.P. Yeah, R.I.P. Yeah, R.I.P. What? R.I.P. we just killed the club. Yeah, R.I.P. to the head, let's kill the thug. I'm in a brand new drop top Rory 3-3.
We are back. You guys are listening to the lunch break on 101.7 The Truth. You are listening to Maybe Shannon. Normally Ray Nitty is here, but he is neither here nor there. He's in Poland. having a good time without us. He done left me and Zach in charge. We holding it down. Brother Z got the production and the sound, and we doing big things over here, man.
You in charge. I want to hear you say that. Say it.
I'm in charge.
You my partner.
I know.
Say it. I'm in charge.
I'm in charge.
That clip gets me going. It reminds me I'm in charge. Man, y'all, we talked about a lot today. We talked about Master P and his secret to success. He said, forget the past and focus on the future. Get your bag. We also talked a little bit about some costume drama that is happening with Target. And we also left off with the question, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that it was simply a bad costume that slipped through the cracks? Or does Target have a bigger issue and they just don't understand the community that they are serving? We talked about how they promised us billions of dollars and all this DEI stuff, and they was going to support us. They had our back, and then they walked it back, and now this stuff is happening. We talked about it. We also talked a little bit about my weekend. We talked about Asian Fest. We had a good time. But before I left off, I said we're going to talk about somebody that passed away yesterday and why I don't care. Whoop-dee-doo. I feel how Target feel about that costume. Oopsie daisy. Let's get into it. A major update in the Sonia Massey case. Sean Grayson, the former Illinois sheriff deputy and the one that was convicted of killing Sonia Massey, has died in prison at 32, according to reports. You know? And sometimes it's like he's not taking up tax money. Good for him.
When I first saw that, I thought they got him, but I saw it was related to something else.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't come out with the official cost, so one could only dream that they you know what? You know, that he went peacefully. Right? But for anybody that needs a refresher, Sonia Massey was a 36-year-old black mother of two who called 911 on July 6, 2024, because she believed someone might be outside of her home. She called the police. She needed help. Right? She called the police. She was asking for help. And Grayson showed up to her rescue with another deputy. They responded to her home. Body camera footage showed that the deputies inside Massey's home. It showed the deputies inside Massey's home. At one point, Massey was near a pot of hot water. Grayson told her to move the pot. Massey picked it up and said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Grayson then drew his weapon and threatened to shoot her. After telling her to move the pot, she moved the pot and he drew his weapon. Massey ducks under a counter and Grayson fired 3 shots. One struck her in the head and killed her. This mother called for help. The deputies arrived, helps on the scene. Then help got scared by a pot of water. Deputy was scared for his life because she had a pot of water.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then she ducked under the counter. So he ended up killing her. And Grayson argued that he believed Massey was about to throw this boiling water on him and that he acted in self-defense. Prosecutors argued that Massey was complying and that the shooting was unjustified. It sounds like she was complying to me. Sound like she moved the pot of hot water, ducked under the counter, and still was killed. She actually called the police for help. How many times are you gonna hear that story over and over again? You calling for help, you end up dead. Oopsie. Whoopsie daisy. I just a baby. That's kind of how that's how they treat our lives. Didn't mean it. My bad. So, Grayson was originally charged with first-degree murder in October 2025. A jury found him guilty of second-degree murder. In January of 2026, a judge sentenced him to the maximum of 20 years in prison, followed by mandatory supervised release. Let's kick it to the chat. Somebody said, now the real prison sentence begins in HE double hockey sticks. Somebody else said, good riddance. It sounds like the community don't really care. That's why I said, whoopsie daisy, whoop-de-doo. Back to what we doing. I saw some of the comments online. They said, we smoking on that Grayson pack. Anyways, y'all want something from the gas station. I don't think people mourn him, but I do think it's important to remember her. That's why I'm telling the story. Right? So he was sentenced to the maximum of 20 years in prison, followed by mandatory supervised release. But his health later became a part of the story. Grayson had colon cancer, and his attorney said it spread to his liver and his lungs. Oh, poor baby. Right? Yeah. It happens to the best of us. Get over it. Right? Get over it like we got to get over our history. He'll be all right. Well, probably not now. But anywho, he sought early medical release from prison. But the Illinois Prisoner Review Board rejected that request on July 31st, 2026. My thing is, he ain't suffered. You know what? I ain't gonna say it. He ain't suffered long enough. He was in there for 2-3 years before he was like, you know what? I can't be here. I'm dying, y'all. Let me free. Yeah. I'm pretty sure she wanted to live a little longer too. So he sought early medical release from prison. Now, reports say Grayson has died while incarcerated. His attorney confirmed the death. His exact cause of death had not been publicly confirmed because he just passed away last night. Although his advanced cancer had been widely reported. And now a lot of people I know a lot of people are going to have strong feelings about this update because of what happened to Sonia Massey. Whatever your reaction is, her name should stay at the center of this story. I think this is a day of remembrance for Sonia Massey. That's what I think we should do it as. Day of remembrance. She called for help. She called 911 for help, and she lost her life after law enforcement entered her home. So, rest in peace to Sonia Massey and Sean Grayson. Whoop-de-doo. I don't know. Hate to be you. Whoop-de-doo, hate to be you. That rhymes. Hey, they said in the chat, good luck in the lower room. The lower room. Y'all know they say the upper room, but RC Creation says, so this guy was on meds while working a job like that. You know what's interesting about him working a job like that, right? While I was doing my digging, my researching and whatnot, he shouldn't have been working a job like that. Not only was he medicated, but he was fired from multiple places because of bad behavior. I think that's more of a question mark than the medicine. That's what I think. He should have never been there. I think he was discharged from the military. He had a long history of not needing to be working with people. And then got the nerve to. And when he submitted his appeal, if I'm not mistaken, homeboy, he still wouldn't admit that he killed this woman. In his appeal, I think that he mentioned that he was defending himself. He still wouldn't accept that you weren't defending yourself. You killed this woman. Right? One of one said, shaking my head, the signs were there. They were. Grown Soul said, I hope she was right there to press the elevator button going down. I know that's right. Hey, he was like, where we going? We going down. You ain't going to the upper room. You going down below. Down below. That's what you doing. So, next on the news, now that we told Sonia Massey's story and we mentioned that dude died, or whatever, Spider-Man versus the far-right demonstrators, y'all. Oh, I've been waiting to get into this. Have y'all seen there's a clip going around. It's been on the news. Spider-Man jumped into action this weekend. There was some protests going on, and Spider-Man wasn't having that. He put hands and feet on a Nazi. All right. So, this is probably the wildest things that you're going to hear about today. A man dressed up as Spider-Man showed up during a far-right demonstration in downtown Minneapolis. And instead of standing on the sidelines, he ended up throwing some punches. He was getting it in. The confrontation happened during a rally led by far-right activist Jake Lang. Protesters also showed up and tensions escalated. The video from the scene quickly went viral. Before we get to the Spider-Man moment, though, I think it's important that we talk about why events like this attract so much attention, y'all. Right? And we're going to get into this after the break, all right? Because I think it's important to give this a little more time to bake. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get back into it. We're going to let it bake a little bit, but we're going to get into it. Why Spider-Man was throwing punches and why things like this attract so much attention. And I have a question for y'all out there, and I definitely need to hear from y'all. We on the lunch break, 101.7 The Truth, live in the studio. If you want to join the conversation, go over to our YouTube. Join the chat. The chat is chatting. Make sure you watch me live in studio. I'm holding it down, and we got Brother Z on the production and sound. We're going to get back into this after we come back from break. Don't go anywhere, y'all.
Don't go anywhere. Milwaukee, have you ever lost power in a bad storm and then opened up a bill that was somehow higher than the month before? Or gotten a disconnection notice, fallen behind, and just couldn't catch up? We've been through a lot together. Now We Energies wants to raise rates again. The Public Service Commission is listening, and this is your chance. Comment now. Or come speak in person at Marquette University the first week of September. Learn more at walnutway.org.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
We are back, y'all. Y'all rocking with the kid. All right. Yeah, y'all letting me cook today. Y'all letting me get in the driver's seat, nice and comfy, feet swinging, talking my stuff. I like it in this seat. It's comfy. Man, you guys are back listening to the lunch break on 101.7 The Truth. We are live in the 3rd Street Marketplace. The beautiful 3rd Street Marketplace. It's buzzing out there. People stopping in the window, waving. But that's neither here nor there, man. We was just talking about Sonya Massey. Rest in peace to Sonya Massey. And then her killer passed away in jail as he should. Wasting our time breathing. Taking my good air up. in Illinois tax dollars. But anywho, he dead. Rest in peace, Cyan Massey, respectfully. But after that, we got into Spider-Man versus the far-right demonstrators in Minneapolis. Am I pronouncing that right? Minneapolis. I always feel awkward saying that word. So, quick recap. A confrontation happened during a rally led by far-right activist Jake Lang. Counter-protesters also showed up and tensions escalated. The video from the scene quickly went viral. And like I said, before we can get into the Spider-Man moment, we got to talk about why events like this attract so much attention. All right. Extremist organizations often rely on a spectacle. A small group can arrive carrying signs and symbols, and then counter-protesters show up, people that ain't playing that. Then you got the police showing up. They creating barriers. Cameras start rolling. And suddenly, an event involving a relatively small number of people can reach millions and millions of people online. Brother Z is playing that video as we talk. If you're not on YouTube, head over to YouTube. Check us out. We got the video so you can see the sights and sounds. You can really get the visuals on what we talking about. All right, and you can join the chat and talk to us. So, that raises a real question, though. Are counter-protesters sometimes giving extremist groups exactly what they want, though, by showing up? On the other hand, should communities simply ignore these neo-Nazis and white supremacists when they show up in public? For many people, that feels impossible and unacceptable, right? Because I don't know how I'd handle seeing that, or somebody being in Milwaukee. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack there. And I guess the harder question is how to respond when these things are happening in your community. Should the communities ignore these groups and deny them the attention that they are seeking? Look, I got tongue-tied, y'all. Or should people counter-protest peacefully with signs, chants, and organized resistance? Or should people be willing to get active? Should people get in the streets? Should people throw hands and feet? Because that's what brings us to Spider-Man's footage. A video circulating online shows a person in a full Spider-Man suit climbing onto a vehicle and physically confronting people involved in that demonstrating. Yes, the visual is exactly surreal as it sounds. Yeah, it's just as crazy as it sounds. Yeah. White supremacists, counter-protesters, police trying to manage the crowd, and then Spider-Man comes flying into the scene. Social media had a field day. I know I saw him taking pictures before this with the protesters. Or the counter-protesters, let me be clear. He was chilling in the streets. People like, what is Spider-Man doing here? And then I see the video of him flying on the back of the truck and getting active. He said, listen, I ain't your friendly Spider-Man. I got hands and feet for this. He wasn't playing. And he kept his costume on the full time. Then I saw him getting arrested. I was kind of sad about that. They should let him go at it. But anywho, some people are calling him a hero and others joked that Peter Parker should be proud. But here's where we have to separate that viral moment from the legal reality. Someone can oppose white supremacy and still face those legal consequences for assault and other unlawful conduct. The First Amendment, it does protect deeply offensive speech, but it does not automatically protect violence, y'all. So even though we proud of him for getting active, we got to think our boy might be in jail. And at the same time, self-defense or defense of others matter legally depending on exactly what happened and who initiated the confrontation and whether someone was in immediate danger. The short viral clip may not show the entire encounter, but all those things matter. And beneath those jokes is a serious question about how communities should respond to extremist organizations. Do we think denying them attention works, or are we allowed to oppose? Does peaceful protest send the strongest message? Or does humor and extremist Or does humor make extremists look less powerful? Because that was funny seeing Spider-Man down there and then he got active. So we got humor, we got physical confrontation, which makes for a good viral moment. But do we think that's the right way to go, guys? Cousins, I want to hear from y'all. If a neo-Nazi group throws up in your city, what's the best response? What do we think? Do we peacefully protest? Do we mock them? Do we throw hands and feet? Because Spider-Man got active. He did it all. He mocked them. He used humor. He had his costume. He went in. Love that formula. Man. But listen, I'm personally, I think more people should get active. I do. I hate to be that person, but I also do understand the part where it's like, just ignore them and they'll go away like a little kid. Because that is what they want. They want people to show up. Like sometimes it's these small organizations, right? They show up and they're like, okay, we gonna get out here and we gonna get people pissed off and they gonna start fighting with us and then we gonna get all the cameras. That they rely on the attention to keep growing. So I do understand why people say just ignore them. I do. But I also I know how hard it can be to just ignore something like that and let people think that that's okay. I know how hard it can be to feel like, oh, they think they can come into our space and kind of bully us around. No, we gonna show them that y'all not welcome here. And I get it. But I also understand why people say ignore these people because that's what they rely on. That's what they want. And sometimes they use those clips of people getting active and people getting a rise out of people, and they use it against us a lot of times. I feel like a lot of times they use those things against us, and we might feel good in the moment. We might feel good like, you know what? We did what had to be done. And like I said, watching that clip, I was proud of Spider-Man, even though he eventually got pushed and pulled off the little truck he just jumped on and started swinging on. He took a little tumble, went to jail. He had a rough go, but in the moment, it felt good. But like I said, I don't know if it's worth it. He gonna go to jail. He probably gonna get a nice little ticket. They probably take his costume. Man, rough. But like I said, the internet is talking about it because it's just so, and like I said, it's a spectacle. And they love to be like, oh, the lefts are crazy. They so crazy. Look at them. They dressing up as Spider-Man now. So it's just like, how do we deal with that? And I think that's a good question for us to sit on, man. But I also wanted to talk about Damon Darling and Walmart. If you've been on social media, you know who Damon Darling is, y'all. He is a social media influencer. And he recently got banned from Walmart. He got banned from Walmart, y'all. He is very viral. He has over 10 million followers, y'all. Very, very viral guy. He started off doing comedy and pranks and things of that nature. But since then, he's grown. And a viral social media person like himself, when he got a life ban, everybody was buzzing, right? So he has a massive following across all social media platforms. And the controversy starts because he recently posted a video from Walmart in Ohio where he was trying to buy groceries. What he does is he helps people out. He goes around and he offers help to the people. He asks if they want him to buy groceries or whatever, or he offers money. And like some people, you get that reaction like, oh, get away from me. You know, he'll approach anybody, white, black, whatever. And more often than not, like the white people are like, no, because they think it's a prank. They think it's a scam or something. But he's actually buying groceries and doing good. But after he left that day, officers reportedly pulled him over and served him a lifetime ban in Walmart. Yeah. And naturally, the internet went crazy. People started saying, wait, Walmart banned him for buying other people's groceries. And some followers even started calling for a boycott of Walmart. They said, well, y'all ain't finna get him out of there. He's doing good. Why are y'all pushing him out, right? Walmart pushed back on that narrative. The company said that Darling was not banned because he was giving back or paying for people's groceries. Walmart said that the decision followed after repeated policy issues. And there's another piece of this story. Darling previously did film prank videos and comedy inside of Walmart stores. But those older videos of him were from years ago, and now he's doing good. Man. So here's the question. Did Walmart go too far by banning Damon Darling? They gave him a lifetime ban. We can get more into this tomorrow. I'm going to be back. We got Brother Z on production and sound. We can get more into that story, y'all. But it was nice rocking with y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with me. My name is Shannon, and these are my temptations. No, I'm just joking, y'all. I'll be back tomorrow. You are listening to The Lunch Break with Ray, Nitty, and maybe Shannon. I am holding it down today. Next up, we got The Grapevine with Homer Blow. Y'all don't want to miss this.